So today we're going to be talking about multiplying and dividing positive and negative fractions. Your next test is going to be this Friday, September the 19th. So our essential question is, how do we multiply and divide positive and negative fractions? Well, if we're multiplying and dividing with positive and negatives, we have to remember Mike Dude or Molly Dude. So I drew this up here in the corner just so I can refer to it as I'm solving these problems. So whenever we multiply, we simply multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators, and then reduce. So let's try that on two problems. So right here I have negative 2 over 7 times negative 3 over 8. So before I solve anything, I need to notice that I have a negative and a negative. So if I cover up two negatives up here on Mike Dude, I'm left with a positive. So I know that I have to have a positive answer, so I'm just going to write that out to the side so that I remember. Answer has to be positive. Now, I'm going to multiply my numerators. So I have a negative 2, or I just have 2 times 3. I already know it's going to be positive. That's 6. And then 7 times 8 is 56. And I have a positive answer, so I just reduce. So 6 and 56, they can both be reduced by 2. So I'm going to divide 6 by 2 and get 3. I'm going to divide 56 by 2 and get 28. So negative 2 over 7 times negative 3 over 8 is a positive 3 over 28. Okay, now we have 1/2 times 4 2/5. These are both positive, so I just know that my answer is going to be positive. We've been doing that for a long time. Now, if we're multiplying and dividing, and we have a mixed number, we need to change it to an improper fraction. It's up to you with addition and subtraction what you want to do with the mixed numbers. But if we're multiplying and dividing, we need to change mixed numbers to improper fractions. So I have 1/2 times, and the way I'm going to change this to improper is I'm going to do 5 times 4, which is 20, plus 2 is 22. So I have 22 over the same denominator. So 22 over 5. So now I multiply numerators. 1 times 22 is 22. Over 2 times 5, which is 10. I'm going to go ahead and reduce that. I can divide these both by 2. And then I get 11 over 5. Now, I have to change this to a mixed number. So I'm going to take the numerator and divide it by the denominator. So I have 5 going into 11, or 11 divided by 5. 5 can go into 11 2 times, and let me zoom into this for you. 5 can go into 11 2 times with a remainder of 1. So that means that my answer is 2 1/5. Whenever we divide fractions, there's something, it's kind of like a fun saying that I want you to remember. It says, dividing fractions is easy as pie, flip the second and multiply. Dividing fractions is easy as pie, flip the second and multiply. And of course you have to reduce your answer. So let's go ahead and try that. So we have negative 1 over 3 divided by 2/5. Before I do anything, I need to notice I have a negative and I have a positive. So if I come back to Mike Dude, if I cover up a negative and a positive, I'm left with a negative. So my answer has to be negative. So I'm going to write that out to the side. The answer has to be negative. Now, whenever I divide fractions, I have to flip the second. So that means I'm going to leave this the way it is, and I'm going to change 2 over 5 to 5 over 2, and then I'm going to multiply instead of divide. So I have negative 1 over 3 times 5 over 2, and again, keep in mind our answer will be negative. So I'm just going to worry right now about negative 1 times 5, and that's going to be a negative 5. 3 times 2 is 6. So I have negative 5 over 6. That cannot be further reduced. So that is my answer. So a negative 1 over 3 divided by 2 over 5 is negative 5 over 6. Let's do one with a mixed number. So let's say we have 2/3 divided by 3 1/3. Again, I want to change mixed to improper. So I will have 2/3 divided by, so I'm going to do 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. So I will have 10 over 3 because my denominator stays the same. Now, I'm going to follow my division rule. So I'm going to flip the second, so I'm going to leave the first the way it is, 2/3. Change the second to 3 over 10. And I'm going to change it to multiplication. So now I have 3 times 2, which is 6, over 3 times 10, which is 30. And 6 over 30 can be reduced. It can actually be reduced by a factor of 6. So 6 divided by 6 is 1. 30 divided by 6 is 5. So 2/3 divided by 3 1/3 is 1/5. Make sure you complete your summary at the bottom. Have a good evening, and I will see you in class tomorrow.